Perfect.
All right, so welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. My name is Johanna Ruprecht and I'm the Arts Administrator with River Arts Alliance. We are the organization sponsoring this workshop and it's funded through a grant that we have from the Minnesota State Arts Board. Thank you everybody for joining us. Feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat if you'd like to let us know who you are and where you're coming from tonight. And with that, I will turn it over to our presenter, Sydney Swanson.
Yay. Hi, everybody. I see so many familiar names and faces, and it's really, really lovely. So thank you for joining for this intro to video for artists, or really anyone. I'm going to give some tips on different video related things that are useful for anybody, not just artists. And thanks to Johanna and also Ann Plummer for really pushing me, or not pushing, but asking nicely multiple times if I wanted to do this workshop. And everybody can see my screen. Give me a nod. See this video for artists. Cool. Okay, great. So this workshop lasts about an hour. We're going until about 8. Just going to give you some basics, like I said, of how to make videos. Kind of gearing this towards making videos of yourself and your work to share on your websites, on social medias. But I do want to be clear with the fact that this is not video for like TikTok or Instagram Reels. Those are a different kind of beast that I don't have much of any experience with, like that kind of editing and creating. This is more, like I said, kind of intro videos about, you know, maybe it's updates for people about what you're working on, what you're thinking about, that kind of stuff. I also wanted to let you know that I'm kind of working with this workshop with only using a phone or an iPad to make the videos. So no other special equipment. If you have extra lighting, that's great, but I did not include anything about, like, you know, having a bunch of different lighting or even a tripod. You'll see my setup of how I did the little video that I made by using books to stack on top of each other. So no fancy gear needed. And there are a lot of helpful tips for all kind of video making, but I am gearing the editing towards using iMovie on iPhone or iPad, which I know it said in the video notes. And if you have any questions or anything, just get attention. You can even start speaking and we'll answer questions as we go, and then hopefully answer some at the end too. So click here. Okay, so who I am, I'm Sydney Swanson. I am a dancer, photographer, videographer, dance filmmaker. The photos on the right are various ones of me that I've had, you know, other artists take of me, and then the ones on the left are some of what I'm interested in. I used to do a lot more landscape travel photography type work, but I also do a lot of work with artists. There's some painting hands there, and a lot of work with dance. And I currently live in Rochester, Minnesota. I was in Winona for school and then for about 12 years, and just moved to Rochester last year to live here with my partner. But still do a lot of things in Winona. It's only an hour away and I'm still in Winona quite a bit. So let's see. So in my head, when I was preparing for this workshop, I was thinking of 2 different types of videos. So what I'm calling an informal style, I'm seeing as more of the vertical arrangement. So, you know, holding your phone up like this. And those kind of videos I see as great for kind of posting on the fly. I think that Terry maybe talked about this in her social media workshop, but videos are really great for getting people's attention, especially short ones that kind of give updates on maybe what you're working on, what you're thinking about, themes that are coming up for you as an artist. And the advantage of doing these, especially if you do like a live video on Instagram or Facebook, is that you can switch the camera. You can switch between, so you can, show yourself talking, and then you can also flip and maybe show the painting that you're working on, show the mosaic that you're creating, show something else that's there, and then you can flip back to yourself. Let's see. And then this is what I'm viewing as more of a kind of formal interview style. So this is a screenshot from one of the videos I did last year for the Bluff Country Studio Art Tour, where the format is horizontal, might include some light editing and maybe planning what you're going to say. Whereas, if you do kind of a live video, that will be more like talking on the fly, like I said. Let's see. I experimented with some like fancy effects on the PowerPoint. So I'm like, okay, when's it coming in? I just have to click a couple times. Let's see. So, like I said, that informal style of video, I see it more as quick updates about what you're working on, what you're thinking about. For instance, if I was to maybe do a video as a dancer, dance filmmaker, I might say like, I might be out in a space because I've been doing a lot of dance film work outside in different sites. So I might be in a site and be like, hey, I'm here, by the river, because something that's been coming up a lot for me has been different themes of water. And then maybe show the landscape around me as an example of that just coming up more. If you decide to do a live stream, if you have a social media following, you can also, promote that you're doing a live stream, maybe get people more involved by doing Q&As with them, or they can send you their questions and you can answer them during that video if they send them ahead of time. And then the more formal style, I think those are really great if you're doing like an introductory video, or maybe a video that you'll have like on your website landing page, like, okay, this is me, this is some examples of my work, this is, maybe where I currently live, what I'm interested in. You might also use that for if you have a big update on something that you're offering, or maybe some workshops that you're going to be doing, or classes or something. And then another thing that I think is really interesting in that format is, if you wanted to create a process video, so doing some maybe time-lapse videos of yourself working on a piece, and then adding a voiceover or something to describe what you're doing, which I will go over in the editing portion. Oh, there it is. Okay, so oh no. See, okay, young people have issues with technology too. Just wanted to say that. So, okay, so what I want to talk about is some lighting, framing, and background tips. So I see these three things as things that you have control over. And with everything that I'm saying in here, these are guidelines, not rules. And I'm just speaking from my own experience. So you might look at this and be like, no, it's fine if I have this kind of background. And that's totally cool. You can do what feels right to you. But let's start with lighting here. Okay. So like I said, I did not use any extra equipment for this. I don't believe that you need super fancy lights, but you do want to be well lit, right? So making sure that there's light on your face. If you're showing your face, if you're showing your work, you don't want it in shadows. I really love natural lighting. So, you know, if you have nice windows in a studio space, using that to your advantage, maybe not, you know, when it's super harsh sunlight coming through, but natural light can be a great way to light things without causing, I don't know, things to look weird. Like if you look at me right now on my screen, like you can kind of see that I've got this light coming at me from my computer. And then I've also got this light up here. I probably wouldn't use, you know, this lighting for making a video because I'm kind of backlit. It's kind of up ahead or above me. But you can use overhead lighting or a lamp to work in your favor. I would just say, you know, not like directly above you. And with that, I've got a couple of lighting examples for you. So this is an example of maybe a way that natural lighting is not working to my favor, right? The lighting is exactly behind me. You can't see my face at all. It's really blown out. So, and you can see my little fly strip I've got hanging there. That's funny. So, you know, I would want to be turned around and have the light coming at me as opposed to behind me. Or if I did have some other lighting equipment, maybe having that shine at me. But this could be easily remedied by me turning around and just shooting from the other way. Okay, so this looks familiar, right? It's right here. This is not terrible, but the light is still kind of blown out on the side there, right? Because it's like I have, when you have your frame kind of pointing at the light source, right? It was coming from the window. Then again, we just kind of want to use the angle of lighting to our advantage. So with that, I would move that even a little more to what you're seeing me as now, and then the light's a little more diffused. It doesn't come across as quite so harsh. Okay, so here's another example. Again, same spot, right? But what we've got going on here is what I just described is happening to me right now. I've got this light, but it's kind of above and behind me. So it's a little bit better, but it's still not really showing my whole face. So I could rectify that by moving my lamp even a little bit in front of me, maybe a little bit diagonal. So that way that light is kind of shining down, but not right above me. And like I said, if you have any questions or comments or anything as we're going through this, just let me know. Okay, so next, framing. When I talk about framing, I'm talking about what is in the frame, what we see, and where you are located in the frame as well. So this also might include how your camera is angled, right? So if you are shooting straight on, if you're kind of looking down at the subject or at yourself, if it's looking up, and that can change how you're looking too, right? So if I've got my computer and I'm coming from above, I look a lot different as opposed to if I'm coming down here, right? Coming from below is not necessarily the most flattering for anybody. We usually try not to do that. Usually if you are doing some sort of interview style video like this, you want kind of eye level for the camera. So like I said, you might have a tripod that allows you to do that. If you don't, really easy thing to do, just stack a bunch of books and then, you know, set your camera on there. And the nice thing about phones, right, is that we can see you can see in them. You can put the video on so it's facing towards you, so you can see where you are in the frame. And also with framing, you want to think about your position, right? So right now I am directly in the middle of this frame, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It usually is a little more visually interesting and kind of more of the interview format if you're kind of a little off-centered. So this is kind of what I would do and what I've done for videos in the past. But something you also want to think about is your angling, right? So even if I'm a little off-centered here, if I am like facing this way, or if I'm really leaning back, kind of want to think about that a little bit too. So what I like to imagine is if the camera is kind of, right in front of me, I'm angled a little bit as if I were talking to somebody that's maybe a little bit to the right of the camera. Not like, facing directly that way, but just kind of opening up so that you're a little more inviting, if that makes sense. Okay, so can anybody tell me is this a good framing example? Is this a good place for me to be in the frame in my video?
You're doing a ghost movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if that was like what I was trying to portray, then yes. But if I'm trying to like give information, maybe come off as, like I said, a little more like open, inviting, it's not maybe necessarily where I want to be. Yeah, I was doing a ghost movie. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to show 3 photos that are very similar, and then I'll come back to them. So first we've got this one, and then this one. So the first one, not too bad, right? I'm kind of a little straight on. The camera is a little bit lower. You can see more of me, you can see my hands on my lap, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And that these are kind of nitpicky things anyways. Next one, raise it up a little bit higher, but you can kind of see my left shoulder is like, I'm kind of a little bit turned weirdly. And then in the last one, okay, I'm a little bit to the off center of the frame. You can tell that the camera is, pretty close to eye level, I'd say, and I'm inviting with my stance. If I were to get super nitpicky, I'd be like, oh, well, the frames in the background are a little crooked looking, but as far as my body goes in the frame, it's pretty good.
So it's okay to be off center in that, because that wasn't okay.
Yeah. So I think that the off center, it's used a lot for like documentary style interviews. And I think it is just because it creates, there's like this open space here, which does something, I don't know exactly what it does, but it does something for our brains. And whereas the like dead center, it's just like, I don't know. I almost don't think it's as visually interesting too. It's like you're leaving a little room for possibilities. And this next image is just an image of my setup, right? So I'm here, I've got natural light coming in from the left through big windows. And then I just piled up a bunch of books. And I think there's even like a pencil box in there and some other box. And I just piled it up until it got high enough to be where I wanted it to be.
So Sydney, you just have light coming from one direction, natural light coming from one direction.
I do, yep.
It almost looks like you've got something coming right more towards you from the front or something, but I guess not.
I know, right? Well, in that window, it is
at an angle or something.
It's like 3 windows, you know, so it's like
a bay window,
almost like a bay window. Yeah, couldn't think of the word. So there is kind of a little bit of light coming, but yeah, otherwise it's just from just the left side. Oops, click. There we go. Okay, so this is another example from the Bluff Country Studio art tour. This is an artist that she had this really interesting shop, all of these things that made it spatially interesting. And the way I framed her was kind of in the middle of all the chaos, but still a little bit off center. Again, we've still got some natural light coming in that lights her. And then I think we did have maybe another lamp on her right side that was giving a little more light. Okay, so this is my framing examples for the more informal style, right? Like if you were just holding and giving a little update. So these, I don't think it's quite as big of a deal, but these are just a couple of things that I would watch out for when you're doing that. Again, you kind of don't want to have this, what we've got going on the left here, where I've got the phone pretty low and it's looking up at me. The one on the right, I'm really, really close, right? You don't have to, extend fully and show your entire body, but I would say give a little bit of space so that you're not all up in it, unless you're trying to be comical, which I do sometimes. And then again, so the one on the left, I'm doing more of a phone out, both hands situation. And this is all, if you were having to hand hold it, you could also just prop your phone up so that it's just pointing at you. But this is if you're trying to hand hold it so that you can do that switching between the 2 different camera views. And the one on the right, I've got it a little bit up, right? So it's kind of looking up at me or down at me. This is what I tend to go towards when I'm doing any kind of video where I'm just, talking informally like this. I kind of see it, it's almost like a selfie kind of framing, right? So you can see my head. You're not, getting all of my body, but it's not up close personal in my face too. Okay, so background. When you are making these videos, it's helpful to think about what is in the space around you, right? So in my space now, it's pretty simple, right? I've got this big chair. I've got a little thing on the wall. It's not super distracting. Things to look out for are, just anything you wouldn't want on video, right? Like if you've got, if you're in your studio, you're shooting a video, maybe you were eating lunch in there earlier, you've got your, French fries left over or something, I don't know, McDonald's wrapper, like maybe you don't want that in your video, right? So we're like, it's just kind of taking stock of what's in your space and what's behind you so that you are in control of what's being seen. If you are an artist with a studio space, that's awesome. I think artist studios are so interesting. And the nice thing about having your own space like that is that you can kind of curate what's being seen. I like to make sure things are interesting but not overpowering, right? So like that, let's see if I can go back to it. This one. So I would say this maybe borders on overpowering, right? There's a lot going on. If I were to do this again, I might like narrow in a little bit or take a couple things away. But it also is interesting too, right? Because you've got all these layers and you really kind of get a picture of, you know, what she does as an artist. So just get back here. But one thing to watch out for too is reflections. If you have mirrors or maybe you have paintings that you have, you know, framed and with glass, just watch out that you're not catching your recording device in there. Just as a rule of thumb. And then you also want to make sure that there's some space between you and what's behind you. That kind of goes with the framing bit, but like if I'm sitting in this chair, I don't want to film the video with me like all the way back here because you'll just kind of blend in with your background a bit. You want a little bit of space so that you know, you look like you're available, you're present, you're inviting, you're not like trying to blend in and disappear. And these can be done, you know, sitting, standing, whatever is comfortable for you. Can be done inside or outside. And like I said, if you have your own studio space, you have the option of moving stuff around, kind of making the space what you need it to be. Okay. Does anybody have any thoughts on this kind of background that I've got going on? There are no right or wrong answers. Any thoughts? I also need to get a drink of tea so you can just think about it a moment if you want to.
Is there a stand that you'd recommend? Like I know some phones have stands so that even if you have a pile of books, so the phone doesn't lay flat.
Sure. So I have a pop socket. Gives it a little bit of space. Otherwise, I mean, I know there are a lot of different like phone tripods that are relatively inexpensive. I'm not like super, I don't have a ton of gadget type things for this, so I don't know a lot about them, but I'm sure there might be other people that do. I guess if anybody has one already that they use and like, if you want to share it in the comments.
I'm going to go in my other room and get one. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, I figured you would, Mary. I just thought
it's a pistol grip tripod. Yeah, it's really
okay.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm so just like pop socket, books. I set it on rocks when I'm outside doing dance films or like in a tree or with my shoe. Like, yeah, kind of DIY in that way. So while Mary's grabbing that, what I would say about this background that I've got going on is that it looks fine. It would be fine. I personally would probably tidy it up a little bit just because, you know, I've got some books. Like it's kind of, it just doesn't look the neatest to me. But somebody else watching a video with this background would probably not even really care. I would probably take this healing yoga deck off of there just because it's like, it's bright and kind of draws the focus.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Okay. What about the yes. shelf kind of going through your head? in that
Wait,
last one.
Who's speaking?
Terry.
Oh, cool. Okay. I can't see everybody. I've got, the little thing along the side, but I can't see everybody. Okay, so the thing, are you talking about this like platter thing that's going through my head?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not necessarily ideal either. And really that whole like wooden thing, like the wooden shelf up there, I don't really love the placement of it either. Yeah, ideally we don't have things going through our heads in photos or videos either. Mary, do you have the tripod? Ooh.
So, is that handheld or is it actually
you hand hold it? You hand hold it, and you can turn it into a tripod too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, coolness.
I mean, it's
wow.
Sydney, it's $8 at Walmart. I mean, so it's not, I have this.
It's not super techy.
So, it's perfect for when you want to hand hold it and do some video or even just still photography.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Called a pistol tripod.
Pistol tripod. Cool. Okay. All right. So next background example. This, again, not terrible, but if you can see to the right there, we've kind of got some reflection going on. There's just a lot of stuff in that cabinet. So it's kind of busy and I'm kind of placed right in the middle of the frame. So, it's nice that we've got this kind of clear, plain wall, but then everything's so busy on the right that it can be distracting. And again, this is what I ended up going for. But even with this, I don't love that the paintings are a little crooked, like it's just, it can get nitpicky. And ultimately, what I would say is also don't worry too much, like, because we can easily get distracted with like getting super detailed and then just not put out our content. So sometimes, if there's something that's a little off, that's okay. I would say still just like get your stuff out there so people can see it.
I really think the lighting is good in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It really makes you look really warm and inviting, and yeah.
I really like that that window space. Let's see. Oh, this is another still from Left Country Studio Arts tour and Plumber. So kind of a busy background, but what's really nice is that because she's wearing all black, she's kind of a nice contrast against it. And she's a little forward. She's not, too backed up and fading into all of her things. She's there. She's a presence. Okay, so editing. These are tips and tools for iMovie, but there are definitely other free apps. If you look in your app store for Android or even iPhone, I just find that iMovie works really well. It's free and there's no watermark added to the videos. Sometimes that can be a thing if you're making videos with other apps or software. So basic editing things that you might do when making these types of videos, you'll add your clips, maybe cut them, trim them, or split them. If you say a bunch of things and you're like, oh, I'd like to actually put, a clip of my painting in between this thing I say and this next thing I say, you might split the clip. I'll show you how to move the clips and add voiceover. You can change your timing in iMovie so you can speed up things. You can slow them down. You can add transitions between the clips. And then I really like to just fade in and out from black, which iMovie just has as an option. Okay. So I remembered that you could do screen recording on your phone and made this video for you guys, which I will kind of talk through. So, okay, I think I did it too fast. All right, so what I did is I pulled up the screen here that shows, you know, a bunch of my photos and videos, right? This next step is not something that you have to do. It's just something that I find helpful if I have a lot of videos, especially if I'm going back in my, you know, recent videos and trying to find things. So what I show next is making a album to put the videos that you're currently working with in, and you can do that when you're making them, or, you know, when you're taking the clips, or you can do that afterwards. So I go in here and I find the videos that I want. I just open them to make sure they were the ones I want. And then I selected the, oh, actually, that I forgot I did that first. Okay, so I opened up this video because I realized that I had shot it in a horizontal format, but maybe because of how I was holding it, the phone thought I was shooting it vertical, which is fine and very easy to, you know, switch. So I just opened up the video, the little clip, and I clicked edit. Oh, where'd it go? I clicked edit in the top right corner. And I'm sorry if this is information that you already know. I'm just going over basics here. So when you get into edit a video before you bring it into iMovie, there's a little button down at the bottom right, crop button. And if you click on it, you can then change the orientation of it. So up top left, there are two little buttons. The second one rotates it. So I just did that so that it was facing the right way that I wanted it to. And then, and I should say too, so I have these videos, this video and a few more that I made, I put them in a, like a folder to share with you all. So I think Johanna, I'm guessing, would be able to share that afterwards. But I'll share that, and then also this PowerPoint. So if you want to like look at any of the information, you can. Okay, so I'm out here in the albums. I click the plus on the top left corner and make a new album to put these videos in. And I say, oh, this is going to be called workshop, video for workshop. So then it automatically prompts me to see if I want to add any videos to that album. And then I can just choose the ones that I want so that it's all in the same place. I can find them really easy. Okay. Then I exit out of there and I'm going into iMovie. So iMovie, there's this nice little plus button to create a new project. There are different options. There's a movie or a trailer option. I always do the movie option because I'm not adding special effects that would, you know, require this movie trailer setup. I'm just adding my clips and editing them the way I want. So then it brings up what it brings you to is your album that has like your most recent things. So your most recent photos and videos. And when you're first setting this up, it might ask you like, you know, it needs permission to go into your photos. But then it brings this up, and I just made that new folder. So I'm going back, I'm clicking that media button up there, going back, and then I'm going to be choosing a different album. So I'm going to click, oh, nope, I got confused. In the moment, going back to media, and then I'm clicking albums. And I'm scrolling down to my new album I made, video for workshop. And then I can just choose all 3 of those clips to be added in. And so it will just put them in one right after another. You can do that. You can add all your clips in at once. You can add clips one at a time. You can go back if you forgot a clip. But I just chose to add them all in at once. And I'm just going back through to make sure, you know, which one is which and if they're in the right spot. Let's see. And then it picks up on the next, nope, stop. There we go. I don't know why this got smaller. Sorry about that. Ooh. Okay. Like I said, I'll share these with you guys too. So I go in there and I want to move this middle clip that my cursor is on. So if I click and hold on it, I can drag it over so that it's behind the other clip. And then I'm just scrolling through. You can scroll through and kind of see like, oh, is this all the information I want in there? Is there anything I need to take out? And I realized, playing it back, that there was something I wanted to take out. So I found the spot that I wanted to kind of cut and take out. Oh no, it doesn't show you my butt. It doesn't show you the buttons. Oh, there it is. Okay. So along the bottom of the iMovie, there's all of these different buttons. So there's a little scissors on the left. There's a little time thing, sound, you know, volume, text if you want to add text. And then the little thing on the right is if you want to add special effects or different colorings. So the one on the far left, I click that because I'm going to split the clip, and you see there's also these other options of split, detach, duplicate, delete. I just want to say too, I know this is a lot of information that I'm throwing at you very quickly because I see that it's 7:46 and we're going until 8, and that I will give you a link to a really helpful like PDF that goes through a bunch of different things, you know, how-tos in iMovie. This is my just quick and dirty version. Okay, so I split the clip. I'm going to delete that one because it has information that I don't want in there. So then it goes right into this nice little clip that has my cameras and my lenses. And what I just did is I clicked on it and I clicked on that volume button in the middle on the bottom, and I brought the volume all the way down because with that clip, I decided to do a voiceover. So the nice thing about iPhones, especially, is that they have really good microphones. So doing a voiceover afterwards it's relatively painless, and the microphone picks it up really well. So kind of made sure that, what I was wanting to have in these clips was in there. In this last clip, there was another part that I wanted to cut out. So again, I kind of found where that was and then clicked on the lower left button, that scissors again, and cut off a piece.
And Cindy, it looks like when you hit that scissors, it
Yes.
highlights it in yellow, right? That tells
you.
you.
It does.
Okay.
Yep. So that you know which clip you're on. Okay. So I decided that's what I wanted. Also, you'll notice in between the clips, there's a little box with a line in it. So that is a place where a transition would be. Right there, that one is showing that there's no transition. So it just goes from the one clip to the next, which is totally fine. Between the other two, there's like a little X type thing. And it's you can click on that and change the type of transition it is. Which I think maybe I did next.
Sydney, I have a question.
Yeah.
When you cut something out, is there an undo somewhere like there is, on Microsoft? So if you want to get it back, you can?
Yeah, so that you see the video clip up top and how there's a few kind of icons right underneath there. The one on the far right, the little like looped arrow. Yeah, that's an undo. Yeah, so if you accidentally do something, you totally can undo it. So right where I clicked there, I clicked on the little box in between, right? And it brought up these different options for transitions. So iMovie and iPhone and iPad keeps it really simple. They just give you, 5 different transitions to choose from. I really like the dissolve one because it just fades from one clip into the next. Or dissolves. I guess there's a fade option too, but you can also keep it none. It's going to be fine that way too. This is just if you want to add that.
Do you recommend, if you're working from a whole file of photos, that if, like when I'm editing a manuscript, I usually save the original, make a copy, and then work on the copy, so that is that something you can do here or not recommend?
Oh, sure. So with this, it will not affect the original video clips. So you'll have those, but if you do want to, not have to like undo all the things and be able to edit in different ways, then it wouldn't be a bad idea to make a copy of it. Okay. Yeah, what I will often do is I'll maybe edit in stages, and I'll edit like one part of a clip and then like add it into another like project. And I would say when I'm editing on my computer, I do make copies of that. So yes, not a bad idea to do on here.
So it makes sense then to download this from your phone and do the editing on the computer, just because it's bigger and easier to see, right? Or do you just do it on your phone because you have great eyesight?
I do. I've been doing a lot of dance films, site-specific dance films on my phone, because it's a very quick and easy way for me to get more things made and out without worrying too much or getting caught too much up in the editing. You can definitely bring things from your phone to the computer, and we have iMovie for the computer too. I just geared this workshop towards like using the phone solely, Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. So the next thing I did was I changed I added the fade in and fade out to black option on here. So on the bottom right, there's a little like gear. And if you click on that, there's options to fade in from black, fade out to black, you know, add a soundtrack, but then you can also add all these different filters if that's something you want to do. I want to get to the part. Okay, this part. So right here, I went over my middle clip that had just my equipment because I wanted to do a voiceover and say something about the equipment. So when you click the plus button that's kind of up there in the left underneath the main video, it brings you to this next screen where you can add more things in. And if you look towards the bottom, there's an option for voiceover. And when you click it, it brings up this little thing. It shows you what your voice level, the sound level is at, right? So the green is good. If it was in the red, it would be like, oh, my sound is way too loud. I'm talking way too loud. It's blowing out the speaker. But it just brings that up. There's a little option to click record right there. And then okay, so then I recorded and it shows you how long you're recording. So it shows me that I was recording that right over the whole clip. You can have the option to listen to your recording, make sure it's what you want, retake it, stop it, or accept it. Okay. Going to skip a little bit. Basically, I just watched it to make sure that it was what I wanted. Didn't add any effects because I did not want to change the coloring on there. Okay, so then up on the top left, there's the done button. Click done and it brings you to this little screen where you can, go back in and edit it. You can go back to your projects, or down there in the middle, there's a little save button, the little box with the arrow pointing up. I guess that it's not a save button, it's like a send button. So you can send it, directly to people. You can copy it, save it, do all sorts of different things with it. And all I did was just save it to my phone. And then it exports and there it is. Sorry, like I said, I feel like I went through that part really fast, but I was like, oh no, time, it keeps happening. But I also do, like I said, have these videos in a link that I will share with you. Don't play again, please. This, I made a little example video that I edited on there. These you'll also get to look at because I'm going to go through them right now, but I just made examples if you were going to do like a live video on Instagram or Facebook, just kind of went through what you click on so that you know how to get there. Next. Made a little process video of my editing a short dance film if you want to watch that sometime. And then I also have these helpful links. So I have a link that has little editing videos that I showed, iMovie guide for iPhones, and then another list that I found that has other free editing apps if you happen to have an Android, if somebody you know has an Android but wants to look into them. There are some options. And then I also have my contact information, my website, and various pages. I know I brought us almost right up to the time, but does anybody have any last questions before I turn it back over to Johanna?
Sydney, oh, go ahead.
You first. Go ahead, Julie.
Well, I just wanted to ask about importing music.
Yes.
In that too?
Yes, you can totally. So you can import music in the same spot where I did the voiceover. And thank you for saying that, because that's something I forgot, but I wanted to mention, because music can be like a really nice thing to add in, like at a low volume. But yeah, it's in that same area where like the voiceover is. You can add in music.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My question was, are you available to consult with people like one-on-one?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, good.
You can take more time to go over things.
Well, no, if I'm working on a particular project, you know, I could
Yeah.
use help with it. I found iMovie a little overwhelming, so cool.
Sure. Yeah. Other questions? Oh, thank you all for coming. It's so nice to see your faces. I haven't seen some of you in person in a while. I really appreciate you all being here. And I know Johanna has a couple more things to say about River Arts Alliance. And I just want to confirm, Johanna, if I send you some of these things, that you could then send them out.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
I can send a follow-up email either tomorrow or later this week with, whatever you have for people.
Awesome.
And also, we have been recording tonight, so
yes,
this will go up on RAA's website in a little bit too.
Sydney, do you do other projects? I want to make a portfolio of my paintings.
Yes, I do other projects. I freelance photography and videography. So
where do we get your contact info?
It's right here on this last page. My email is right there, swansonphotodance at Gmail. And I'll make sure that's in with Johanna's stuff that she's going to send out to everyone too.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have something real quick I want to show you. I've been working with iMovie and I've got videos on there, but now when I go back into them, I get this message.
What does it say?
I don't know if you can see that.
Downloading video. Can you read it, Mary?
Downloading videos. Some of the videos in this project are being downloaded from iCloud, and then I never see them again. So I don't know what.
Oh, do you have it where you automatically back up to iCloud? Because your phone might just be storing some of those videos, like it's like they're still on your phone, but not really. They're just like, it's like there's a placeholder there and then it's stored in the cloud.
And then can you edit it in the cloud?
Are you able, does it let you go back into it, or does it?
I can't go back into it on my phone. No, it just won't let me. Yeah. So.
I need to look into that a little bit more. Okay. I haven't experienced that yet.
That's fine.
That's the advantage of doing it on the computer. You can usually go back. And then, you know, if your eyesight isn't 20/20, it's easier to see.
Yeah, it's true.
Thank you, Sydney.
Okay.
Thank you, Sydney.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sydney. Okay, I just wanted to make a few announcements for River Arts Alliance before we wrap up here tonight. So if anybody's not familiar with RAA, we are a nonprofit organization based in Winona. Our mission is about supporting and celebrating the arts community here in the Winona region. We are a membership organization as well. If anybody is not a member and is interested in becoming one, I'll go ahead and pop a couple links here in the chat for you to take a look at. A few of the benefits of membership are you're able to have a page on our website. You're able to share your news and events and announcements in our weekly newsletter and our website and social media. Also, we have a member exhibit that folks can participate in. That's going to be basically the month of June this year at the Blue Heron in Winona. And this, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not, but anyway, this is the 4th in a series of online workshops that we've done. The last 3 were last fall, and these are funded through a grant that we had through the Minnesota State Arts Board. The other 3, if you missed those and are interested, those were on social media for business, online sales using the Square platform, and photography of artwork and photo editing. And those are all, the recordings of those 3 are all available to watch on our website if you're interested. And I will just put a link to that here too. And as I said, Sydney will get me her links and follow-up information, and then I will send out a follow-up email to all of you probably either tomorrow or a little later this week. And then the recording of tonight's workshop will go up on RAA's website eventually too, if you're interested in watching it again. So thanks a lot for joining us, everybody.
Thanks,
So tell me, what is RAA again?
Sorry, what was that?
What is RAA, full form?
River Arts Alliance.
Okay, get it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.